नमस्ते नमस्ते। नमस्कार योगेंद्र जी। हमारे चेयरपर्सन भी आ गए हैं और शायद वक्ता भी आ गए हैं। भाग्य जी दिख रहे हैं मुझे और मैथिली भी दिख रहे हैं और गीतांजलि।
यस मैम।
ओके, तो फिर हम शुरू कर सकते हैं। मेधाली मैडम भी है।
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
अच्छा, मेरी आवाज नहीं आ रही है?
नहीं, योगेंद्र जी की।
अच्छा, योगेंद्र जी म्यूट पर है आप? हाँ, अभी ऑन हो गए हैं। नहीं आ रही आवाज?
एक बार आप निकल के बाहर फिर से जुड़ जाइए माइक के साथ, या लीड वगैरह लगा लीजिए, हो सकता है आपके
आप बोलिए योगेंद्र जी, आवाज आता है या नहीं देखते? हाँ, नहीं आ रहा है, आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है। तो आप फिर से बाहर निकलिए मीटिंग से और फिर से ज्वाइन हो जाइए। नमस्कार मेधाली मैडम। हाँ, आपला आवाज येतोय। योगेंद्र जी अभी बोलिए आप। हाँ, अभी थोड़ा आ रहा है आवाज। ओके, तो राजेश जी हम शुरू कर दें अभी। दोनों भी वक्ता आ चुके हैं।
जी
तो
मैम।
इस आधार पर हम सत्र शुरू कर देते हैं। गीतांजलि, ओवर टू यू।
नमस्कार सभी को। Welcome to the second session of today's seminar that we have. I am very happy to introduce our chairman for this, chairperson for this session, that is Dr. Yogesh Bharadwaj. Yogesh Bharadwaj ji holds a PhD. She is also, one minute, I think there's a problem. Yes. Yogesh Bharadwaj ji is an assistant professor, sub-editor at Indian Knowledge Systems EDS Center of Central Sanskrit University, Delhi. Also at Deccan College, the Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University in Pune, Maharashtra. He holds an MA and MPhil in Sanskrit from the School of Sanskrit and Indic Studies, JNU, New Delhi. भारतीय दर्शन में पंचमहाभूतों का वैज्ञानिक अध्ययन वैश्विक साधारणीय विकास के संदर्भ में was his topic in MPhil, और पंचमहाभूत और संधारणीय विकास इसी नाम की किताब 2021 में पब्लिश हुई है. His PhD topic was applying Ayurvedic concept of Panchamahabhutas to model planet health and environmental sustainable development. He has trained as master trainer of Sanskrit teachers, और वो बैडमिंटन में भी माहिर हैं. So an all-round personality. और स्वागत है आपका डॉक्टर योगेंद्र जी. And I would like you to start this session. कुछ आपके राय इस सेमिनार के बारे में व्यक्त करके, आफ्टर विच मैं आज के हमारे दोनों वक्ता डॉक्टर मेधा लिमये जी और डॉक्टर भाग्यश्री बवरे जी को का इंट्रोडक्शन दूं. डॉक्टर योगेंद्र जी. सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. थोड़ा वॉल्यूम या कुछ आप बढ़ा सकते हैं शायद. अभी वॉल्यूम
आ रही मैम आवाज?
हाँ, आ रही है.
अभी आ रही है, अभी आ रही है.
Thank you so much. Writing अच्छे है। हमारी जो भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा है उसमें कालिदास ने
योगेंद्र जी, थोड़ा मैं आपको यहाँ रोकना चाहूंगी क्योंकि आपकी आवाज बहुत फट रही है। शायद सभी को आ रही है उनकी आवाज के इज इट
No,
it's
breaking.
इज इट
Breaking
इट्स
है।
ब्रेकिंग? हाँ सर, आपके पास अगर कोई ऐसा हेडसेट या कुछ हो आप जिससे वॉल्यूम बराबर आए, क्योंकि आपकी आवाज बहुत ही क्रैक हो रही है और हमको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, और हम ये आपको सुनने का मौका नहीं गंवाना चाहते। तो अगर आप कोई हेडसेट या कोई इवन या कोई माउथ हेडपीस या कुछ ले सकते हैं ना कनेक्टेड टू द लैपटॉप, सो हमको आवाज अच्छी तरह से आए। मैडम, शैल आई इंट्रोड्यूस हमारे स्पीकर्स? अपने
हाँ।
स्पीकर
अभी मैम आवाज आ रही है क्या?
हाँ, अभी आ रही है।
अभी एकदम बराबर आ रही है सर।
ठीक है।
जी सर।
तो मैं कह रहा था कि महाकवि कालिदास ने एक पंक्ति लिखी है, एक श्लोक लिखा है अपने रघुवंश महाकाव्य में कि एक्चुअली दो श्लोक की क्वा सूर्य प्रभो वंशा क्वचाल प्रविशयामति तितिर्षु दुस्तरम मोहात उडुपे नास्मि सागर। उसके बाद वो कहते हैं कि मंदा कवि यशा प्रार्थी गमिष्यामि उपहास्यताम प्रांशुलभ्ये फले लोभात उद्भावुर्वामनः। तो मैं सिर्फ यही कहना चाहूंगा, अभी ये इतनी अच्छी कॉन्फ्रेंस है कि संस्कृत के क्षेत्र में अभी हम लोग ने तो अपने अकादमिक करियर को सिर्फ प्रारंभ किया है या फिर कुछ समय ही हुआ है, किंतु ये ग्लोबल संस्कृत जो फोरम है और मुंबई विद्यापीठ है, मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी है, अपना संस्कृत विभाग है, तो यहाँ की जो परंपरा है वो काफी समय से दीर्घकालीन चली आ रही है। उसमें एक से एक श्रेष्ठ आचार्य आचार्याएं हुई हैं। जब आप सभी के सामने तो अपनी बात रखने का वैसा ही है जैसे सूर्य को दीपक दिखाना, क्योंकि ऐसा कुछ मैं नया तो नहीं कहने वाला हूँ। एक औपचारिकता है जो आप लोगों ने एक अवसर दिया मुझे कि मैं अपनी कुछ बात रख सकूं और आज का एक शेयर करने का एक मौका मिला। ये ऐसा ही है जैसे कि हम संधारणीय विकास के बारे में बात करते हैं कि अगली पीढ़ी के लिए हम इस पीढ़ी से हम क्या करते हैं कि कुछ अपने जो ऐसा डेवलपमेंट करते हैं कि आगे की पीढ़ी को काम आए। तो ऐसा ही हमारी भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का जो आपने जो एक डेवलपमेंट किया है, उस डेवलपमेंट को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए जो अभी नई पीढ़ी आएगी तो उसमें मैं अपना योगदान दे सकूंगा, ऐसा आशीर्वाद प्राप्त हो रहा है, ऐसा मुझे महसूस हो रहा है। और मैं सुबह भी जुड़ा हुआ था तो इतने अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर, शोध पत्र इसमें जोड़े बोले जा रहे हैं, उनमें इतनी विषय वस्तु और शोध गांभीर्य है जिसको देख करके मतलब लगता है कि हाँ, आज की भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा सच में आगे बढ़ रही है। कि कुछ ऐसे अछूते पहलू और भारतीय विदेश नीति में किस प्रकार के तत्व होने चाहिए, संस्कृत की विजडम जो है वो कैसे काम करती है, उसके विषय में ही ये पूरी की पूरी कॉन्फ्रेंस और ये पूरी का पूरा संस्कृत का फोरम, ग्लोबल संस्कृत फोरम काम कर रहा है। इट्स नाइस टू हेयर कि टुडे की जो वर्चुअल इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस है ये डिपार्टमेंट ने ऑर्गेनाइज की है और उसकी थीम भी एक बेसिक हमको बताती है कि एक हमारे लिए वो एक उद्घोष करती है कि संस्कृत जो है जो बैकबोन ऑफ इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम सिर्फ संस्कृत नहीं है, ऐसा हम नहीं कह सकते कि सिर्फ संस्कृत है वही इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम है, बट वन ऑफ द की जो पॉइंट है वो अपना संस्कृत है जो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम को आगे बढ़ाता है, ऐसा हम समझते हैं। तो इसमें अनेक थीम्स हैं जिस पर ये रिसर्च पेपर आज आए हुए हैं। तो मैं सौभाग्य मानता हूँ कि मैं इस रिसर्च जो टेक्निकल सेशन 5 है और इसमें दो हमारे रिसर्च पेपर प्रेजेंट करने वाले शोध अध्येता हैं, डॉक्टर मेधा जी और डॉक्टर भाग्यश्री मैम। तो फिर दोनों का हम लोगों को एक रिसर्च पेपर का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू सुनने के लिए मिलेगा कि इन्होंने किस प्रकार से अपने विषय वस्तु रखेंगे, तो उसको देखते हुए हम बाद में इस पे कमेंट लेंगे एक साथ में। क्रमशः हम पहला और दूसरा रिसर्च पेपर लेकर के इसको हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे। लास्ट में कंक्लूड रिमार्क करके हमारे जो आप सभी लोग हैं, आप सबके अगर कोई प्रश्न उत्तर होंगे तो उनको ले लेंगे, फिर हम इस सेशन को एंड करेंगे। ऐसे करके हम एक रूपरेखा बना सकते हैं। और मैं हैंड ओवर करता हूँ अब इस सेशन के लिए जो अपने मैम है कन्वीनर डॉक्टर गीतांजलि मैम। प्लीज मैम इसको आगे बढ़ाएं। थैंक यू।
प्लीज सर, डॉक्टर अभी बनने के प्रयास में है, पर आपके मुख से वो निकला है, शायद ऊपर से कोई तथास्तु जल्दी बोल दे तो हम बन जाए डॉक्टर। आपके कमेंट्स के लिए बहुत ही धन्यवाद। हमारी जो पहली वक्ता हैं डॉक्टर मेधा लिमये, बहुत ही ज्ञानी और बहुत ही वरिष्ठ, ना ही उम्र में नहीं पर ज्ञान में, रिटायर्ड सेकेंडरी टीचर अरविंद गंभीर हाई स्कूल जोगेश्वरी, और सेक्रेटरी और मुंबई गणित अध्यापक मंडल के, और सेक्रेटरी हैं एसवी पाटिल लाइब्रेरी लोकमान्य सेवा संघ गलपाली। उनका जो प्रारंभिक अभ्यास तो बीए ऑनर्स विद मैथमेटिक्स एंड संस्कृत एंड इंग्लिश सब्सिडियरी सब्जेक्ट्स थे शिवाजी यूनिवर्सिटी कोल्हापुर। उसके बाद बीएड उन्होंने किया मैथमेटिक्स और इंग्लिश मेथड से मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी से, एमए इन संस्कृत एंड डॉक्टरेट इन संस्कृत मुंबई यूनिवर्सिटी। बहुत ही रुचिस्पद उनका विषय था। PhD thesis topic was cultural aspects of ancient Indian mathematics. तो ये अनोखा संगम संस्कृत और मैथमेटिक्स का, गणित का, और बहुत सारे पब्लिकेशंस, बहुत सारे प्रेजेंटेशंस इनके हैं। उनकी किताबें हैं ट्रेजर ऑफ इंटरेस्टिंग न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम्स, मनोरंजक गणित प्रश्नांचा खजिना, एंड संस्कृती च कोंडनातली लीलावती. These are the two books which have been published by Dr. Medha Limaye. So, आतुरतेने तुमची वाट पाहतोय मेधा मैम, could you please take over and present the topic of today? Dr. Medha Limaye.
नमस्कार, धन्यवाद मैडम। Am I audible properly?
Ma'am, slightly if you could raise your volume, slightly.
Yes. हाँ, नमस्कार।
हाँ, नमस्कार.
My topic is about geometry in ancient India, and I will share my slides, and we will begin with a verse from Vedanga Jyotish. This is a verse which highlights the importance of mathematics. Yatha shikha mayuranam naganam manayo yatha tadvat vedanga shastranam ganitam murdhani sthitam. Quite a famous verse. Like the crest of the peacocks, like the jewels of the serpents. Similarly, the science of mathematics stands at the head of the sciences related to Vedas. This verse is from Vedanga Jyotish, which is composed by Acharya Lagada and about 3000 years ago. And mathematics for calendar making was developed in Vedanga Jyotish, where the word Jyotish referred to timekeeping. And this work represents a calendar system stated in terms of symbols and formulae, and much mathematics is used for that also. But my today's topic is about geometry, and geometry in Shulba Sutras. Before that, before starting, let us have a look on ancient Indian mathematics. Broad periodization. Indian subcontinent witnessed mathematical developments since Indus civilization period around 3000 BC. And though we don't have any text of that period, mathematical ideas were developed for the purpose of trade, construction, town planning in that civilization, and some excavations, and in that town planning and everything was found. During the later period, 1500 BCE to 500 CE, mathematics was used in art, architecture, land measurement, recording of time, and astronomy. And Shulba Sutra texts belong to this period, about 800 to 200 BCE. And they are about building of fire altars of various shapes based on geometrical principles. So it is related to mathematics and architecture. Here the word Shulba is derived from the root Shulb, meaning to measure, and etymologically Shulba Sutra means the formulae for measuring. In the beginning of Manava Shulba Sutra, it is stated that Atha Ataha Shulbam Vyakhyasyamaha. Another Shulba Sutra, Katyayana Shulba Sutra, starts with Rajju Samasam Vakshyamaha. Rajju, that is also cord, and cord was used for measurements, so it is Rajju Samasam. The Shulba Sutras are compositions giving an exposition of the procedures for erecting the ritual structures involved, which also incorporate the way descriptions of various geometric principles and constructions. That is very important. And so we will see in this lecture how we can relate that matter to modern curriculum or modern educational system. Just now, we saw the verse from Vedanga Jyotish. Our Sutra literature has 6 Vedangas: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chanda, and Jyotish. These Shulba Sutras are related to Kalpa. Kalpa Sutras are divided into 2 main parts, Gruhya Sutras and Shrauta Sutras, and Shulba Sutras are the part of Shrauta Sutras. Now we can see there are about 8 Shulba Sutras, but out of them 4 are considered very important. Others contain almost that similar material. So we will consider 4 major Shulba Sutras as Bodhayana Shulba Sutra. The period is about 800 BCE. Then Manava Shulba Sutra of the period about 750 BCE. Then Apastamba Shulba Sutra about 600 BCE. And Katyayana Shulba Sutra about 200 BCE. Now what are the contents? They contain geometrical knowledge developed for practical religious purposes. And most important thing is the Bodhayana Shulba Sutra, the oldest one, contains the famous theorem commonly attributed to Pythagoras, and various geometric figures, drawing of various geometric figures, combinations of areas, transformations of areas, and similar figures are the major part of these Shulba Sutras. We can see.
Medha ma'am, can I just interrupt?
Yes.
Could volume ना थोड़ा कमी येतोय ma'am. थोड़ा volume or maybe तुम्ही headset काहीतरी घालून can. जसं अगोदर सांगितलं ना, we don't want to miss out on anything.
Yes. That is why slides I have prepared, because if there is some problem, then.
Thank you, ma'am. Volume जरा
volume थोड़ा मोठा.
हो मोठा करा. Thank you.
Now here I have just mentioned some geometrical contents of the Shulba Sutras. Of course, it is primarily constructive geometry. And the theorem of the square of the diagonal, that is known as Pythagoras theorem, is stated explicitly in the Shulba Sutras. In all 4 Shulba Sutras, it is found. What is the statement? Dirgha chaturashrasya akshnaya rajjuhu parshvamani tiryangmani cha yat pruthak bhute kurutas tat ubhayam karoti. Now our Pythagoras theorem, modern Pythagoras theorem that we teach in our schools, colleges, it is related to triangle, right angle triangle. And sum of the squares of the sides lengths of the sides making the right angle equals to the square of the diagonal. That is the statement in modern form. But in Shulba Sutra, it is stated with respect to Dirgha Chaturashra. That means rectangle, a rectangle, not with a triangle. A rectangle, then it's Akshnaya Rajjuhu, that is the diagonal of the rectangle, and rectangle is divided by that diagonal into 2 right angle triangles, and in right angle triangle we call it hypotenuse. So the statement in Shulba Sutras says that Akshnaya Rajjuhu, that is square of the that diagonal, that Rajju means chord, it is a chord geometry. And Parshvamani, Tiryangmani are 2 sides that make the right angle. So square of those 2 sides, then added together, Ubhayam, then it is equal to square of the diagonal. That is the statement. So the enunciation of this theorem is with respect to the sides and diagonals of squares and rectangles, because square is a particular case of rectangle. And then it is interesting that many rational right triangles are also mentioned. Rational right triangles means in which the sides are rational numbers, integers here, and they are like 3, 4, and 5. Means 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 16 plus 9 is 25, and 5 square is 25. Similarly, 5, 12, 13 is also a rational right triangle, as 5 square plus 12 square gives us 13 square. And many other. They are mentioned there in those old texts. So we find clear conception of the relation between lengths and areas. And equivalence of geometric figures is one of the main themes of these Shulba Sutras. Why was it like that? That we will see further. And we can see 3 sets of constructions are found there, mainly the constructions of quadrilaterals and triangles of required area, then transformation of areas, then summation or subtraction of areas, and most of these constructions presuppose the knowledge of Pythagoras theorem, or we can call it Baudhayana theorem. And basic rectilinear shapes, that is plane shapes, are discussed here, and even constructions of semicircles and circles of given area are also given, and it is noteworthy, all these things. Now, what was the reason behind that? Because primarily performance of yajnas was a hallmark of Vedic civilization, and methodical geometrical knowledge flourished in that period in the context of engagement with constructions of Vedis and Agnis. And Vedis were altars or platforms, and Agnis means fireplaces. So here we can see 3 types of fireplaces: square shape, circular shape, and semicircular shape. And it was very important that all should have equal area. And remember, in mathematics, the area of a square and area of a yes.
Could I request Mari to mute yourself?
So square
Ma'am, 1 minute. Just Sangeeta Kumari. Yeah, could you Sangeeta Kumari, I think host, ma'am's Tajne ma'am, could you just mute Shakuntala ma'am, could you mute? I think
I muted her, madam. You
yeah,
can
thank
say.
you.
Okay. Actually, there were two types of sacrifices, Nitya and Kamya. And for Nitya sacrifices, 3 types of Agnis were there: Garhapatya, Ahavaniya, and Dakshil. And for that, 3 types of Chitis or platforms were used. This is the platform of square Agni Chiti. Chiti means a platform for the sacrifice. And see here, we can see they are brick platforms. And 3 types of bricks are shown here. One is Prathama brick, having measurement 16 by 16 angulas. This is smaller one. Then Dvitiya bricks, 24 by 24, these type of bricks. And then Tritiya bricks, measuring 32 by 32, means here. And it is important that odd and even layers, the brick arrangement was different. But both are having 21 square bricks. 21 square bricks in each layer. But see, the first layer is like this. Here you can see these 9 Prathama bricks, small bricks. And then here, these 4, then these 2, 6 plus these 4, 10 plus these 2 means 12. So 12 Dvitiya bricks. So 12 plus 9, they become 21. Now in the second layer, the bricks are different, but still the area is same. Here we can see these are 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, that is 16 Prathama bricks, and then these 5 Tritiya bricks. So 16 plus 5, again 21 bricks. And if this is the first layer, then this will be the second layer. Then again this will be the third layer, and this will be the fourth layer, and last will be 5th layer of this type. So like that, brick arrangement was considered and that chiti was built. Again, we can see if it is circular, then also there are 21 bricks in each layer, but the arrangement is different. Bricks are also different. Here you can see 9 Dvitiya bricks. These are 9 of square shape, but these 3, again these 3, and these 3 are curved bricks. So there are 12 curved bricks and 9 Dvitiya bricks. Again, same arrangement is here, but just rotating it, you can get the second layer. So first, second layers are different. Like that, the platform was built with the help of bricks and with proper measurement. For that, in that very old period, it was considered very important how to get exactly equal area of square and circle. Remember, in modern period also, no geometric construction can achieve this exactly. Exactly means exactly in mathematical sense. We can get approximate, but not exact. But that time also, the efforts were done to get it more and more exact. And this figure shows, it is a complicated construction, but it shows that here, this blue one is a square, and with the help of its diagonal and this chord and everything, this circle is constructed, which is equal in area to the given square. Of course, it is approximately, but this gives the very famous ratio of circumference and diameter of a circle, which is known as pi. And here the approximate value of it is 3.08. And in modern times, it is taken as 3.14. Again, it was required semicircle also of the same area. So if a square is converted into a circle of same area, then that circle can be converted into the same area as the same area of semicircle. So here is the construction. This is accurate, means if you draw this circle, this semicircle is of the area equal to the original circle. And it can be done easily with the help of geometrical instruments in our schools also. So it was transforming of a circle to a semicircle, and the earlier one was transforming a square into a circle. Now I said there were two types of chittis. For Nitya Agni or Nitya sacrifice, that Garhapatya, Ahvaniya and Dakshinagni, and for big Kamya chittis, that means intentional some sacrifices. For that, so many types are given in Shulba Sutra. Here we can see a famous diagram of a Shena Chitti in the form of a bird, and you can see how the layers are there. Again, here 5 layers of bricks and alternate layers here also. And see, so many types of bricks are there, and they are arranged very systematically and in the shape of a bird. Here is the here are the wings, this is body, and this is tail. Then here is again one Kurma Chitti. It is Vakranga Kurma Chitti. Kurma means it is tortoise. So in the shape of a tortoise, again triangular bricks, and so many types of bricks are used. These are 2 more types. This is Parimandala Kurma Chitti. Again, it is in the shape of a tortoise, but it is circular, Parimandala. And here it is a triangular chitti in the shape of a triangle, isosceles triangle, and see the construction, how it is. There are so many types of these chittis, and Shulba Sutra texts give them all. Now we come to Shulba Sutra constructions. As I said earlier, 3 sets of constructions are found in the Shulba Sutras. First is constructions of quadrilaterals and triangles of required area. Area was given much importance. So of required area, construction of quadrilaterals, triangles, circles, that was given much importance. Then constructions for transformation of areas and summation or subtraction of areas also. And most of these constructions, as I said, presuppose the knowledge of Pythagoras theorem, and which is important in school geometry in modern days also. And we can see that principles of geometry are employed constantly in all these constructions. And these constructions also lead to calculation of basic square root, further the concept of irrational numbers. As I said, pi is an irrational number. And with the help of these constructions, we can get approximate value of some roots, also irrational roots and irrational numbers. I can show you some examples. See here, to construct a square of 10 square units. First of all, we can see that if we want to construct a square of 9 square units, easily we can construct it with the help of a ruler, because we know that if the side is 3 units, then 3 square is 9. So of 9 square units, easily we can construct a square with the help of making right angle with the protractor and using a ruler. But if we want to construct exact square having area 10 square units, it is not easy. For that, the construction is given in Katyayana Shulba Sutra. Actually, these constructions are given in all the Shulba Sutras. Just for reference, I have given this sutra from Katyayana Shulba Sutra. Padam tiryangmani tripada parshvamani tasya akshnaya rajjuhu dashakarani. That is the formula. Now it is very easy. Tiryangmani and parshvamani are two sides. Here in the figure I have shown this length side, horizontal side here, it's 3 units, and this side I have taken as 1 unit. Then by using that Baudhayana theorem, we know that 3 square is 9, 1 square is 1, adding 9 and 1, we get 10, and square root of 10 is the length of this diagonal of that rectangle. This blue rectangle, this is the diagonal. Now, if we consider this as the length, and at that time it was measured the length with the help of a cord or rope, then using that rope length, cutting exactly that rope of this measurement, we can draw a square. This square is the square of area 10 square units. So we got the square of exact area 10 square units. It is not possible with the help of a ruler, but by using this theorem, it is possible. Similarly, this construction is also given in Katyayana Shulba Sutra to construct a square of 40 square units. Again, we have just changed the measurements. Here, this rectangle is drawn by taking 6 units length and 2 units breadth. Then 6 square is 36, 2 square is 4, adding we get 40. So the length of this diagonal is square root of 40. And of course, that square will be very big. By taking this as the length of the side, we can draw a very big square on this diagonal. So these are very interesting constructions given in the Shulba Sutras. Many more are there, just I can show some of them. Here it is a transformation construction. To transform a square into a rectangle of equal area. See, just now we saw that equaling the areas was considered very important. It was true for bricks also. So equal area and shape different. That is the basic idea. A square means all 4 sides equal, all are right angles. But in rectangle, all 4 sides are not equal, only opposite sides are equal, and 4 angles are right angles. Now, this construction gives us the idea about transforming a square into a rectangle of equal area. What is the sutra? Samachaturashram dirghachaturashram chikishan tat akshnaya apachidya bhagam dvedha vibhajya parshvayoho upadadhyat yatha yogam. See what to do. Wishing to transform a square into a rectangle. See, this is a square. Green one. It is given. Cut it diagonally. Here it is cut diagonally. This square, here it is cut diagonally. Again, those 2 parts, this is one part, this is another part. One part of them, of that square, is again cut like this. So now this original square is cut into 3 parts. This part is a big part, and these two are again cut into small parts. Now we can cut this portion, and if we arrange these two parts like this, yatha yogam parshvayoho padadhyat, here, this part here, this part here, like that. By rotation, if we attach, then we get this rectangle. Now look here, area of the square was this much. Now this portion is cut and it is here, and this portion is common to both. Therefore, area of this new rectangle is equal to area of this original square. So by placing the two halves together as it fits, so we get the rectangle of equal area equal to the area of the given square. Now this is another construction combining two equal squares or doubling a square. Means if we have a small square and we want another square having double area, then also this theorem, Baudhayana theorem, is useful. Only the statement is like this, Samasya Dvikarani. In short, it is stated in Apastamba Shulba Sutra, Samasya Dvikarani. Means what? Sama means it is Samachaturashra. That means square, a square. And Dvikarani, Karani means it is diagonal or this part. Now the area of this square is 1 square unit. 1 square unit means this length is 1, breadth is 1. Then obviously 1 square is 1, 1 square is 1, 1 plus 1, 2. So the length of this diagonal is square root of 2. Now square root of 2 again multiplied by square root of 2 will give us 2 units. So if we draw a square on this diagonal, this big square, blue one, will have area 2 square units. So this is 1 square unit, this is 2 square units. Now again, if we want 4 square units, it is very easy again. Again, we can draw the diagonal of this square, and on that square, on that diagonal, if we construct a new square, its area will be 4 square units. Now after that, it is important that we can make triple area also. Means if a square, this sutra says, if a square is drawn on the diagonal of the given square, it will produce double the area. That is Samasya Dvikarani. Pramanan Tiryak Dvikarani Ayamaha Tasya Akshnaya Rajjuhu Trikarani. We can construct again with the help of a rectangle area having triple. That also we can do. Just see, I have shown it here. How to triple the area of a square. See, this is our original square of 1 square unit area. Then again, this is the diagonal. On the diagonal, this square is constructed. So its area is 2 square units. Now here what is suggested? This is one side of this square. Now take length equal to this side, original square, one unit. Means this is 2 units. 2 centimeters we can say in modern unit, and this is suppose 1. So this is 2 and this is 1. So again, actually this is not 2, this is root 2. Length of the side is square root of 2 because area is 2 square units. Square root of 2 and this is 1. 1 square is 1 and square of the square root of 2 is 2. So 2 plus 1 becomes 3. So it is now root 3. Square root of 3 is the length of this blue segment, line segment. And if the square is completed here, its area is 3 square units. So like that, we can get we were having a small square of 1 square unit. This is of 2 square units. This is of 3 square units. We can have 4 square units, 5 square units, any. And we can get it exactly. with the help of chord geometry. Then one more just I will show to convert an isosceles triangle into a rectangle or a square of equal area. This is an isosceles triangle, two sides equal. Just draw.
Ma'am, if I could interrupt, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
We've already done 30 minutes.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
could you just
Yes, yes.
we
I will,
have the
I
other
will just
speaker
show
waiting.
some instructions and come to the
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
So this is one more. Then again, this is converting a rhombus into a rectangle of equal area. So many are there. And one important point I would like to state here, that quality control measures in Shulba Sutra text. All wooden instruments were used, rope or cord was used, bricks were used, that was the material. And importance to accurate measurements, finest material, and preparing instruments carefully and skillfully was given utmost importance. What it is stated, just see. About bricks, the instruction is न खंडाम उपदध्यात, न भिन्नाम उपदध्यात, न जीर्णाम उपदध्यात. So many instructions. Bricks should be perfect. And one more thing, there was aesthetic element also. Yatha na kshiyate manam, yatha cha na vivardhate. Exact measurement. Yatha cha ramate drushtihi. So it must be attractive also and proper measurements. So now, how can we relate all these knowledge in our ancient Indian mathematics to modern curriculum? These are my remarks. Shulba Sutra geometry is a matter of demonstration which enhances ability to visualize and formulate. That is very important for students. And the material in Shulba Sutras nicely complements geometry in modern school curriculum. So it can be implemented into schools, and it will be very useful tool. And understanding appropriate steps in Shulba Sutra constructions based on area preservation technique would open a new window into practical use of geometry. And lots of hands-on activities such as chord geometry, paper folding can be useful in schools also, and afterwards they will be useful in architecture or any art or any fashion designing, anything. So the Shulba Sutra constructions would help a lot in developing purposeful and meaningful reasoning. And of course, the mention of Shulba Sutra text would arouse students' curiosity in our history, which may play a vital role in modern education. So these are some conclusions. And with that, I will come to my end of my lecture. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to speak with you all. This is just like bibliography. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Medha Madam, for this enlightening session. This was a real wonder. And like you mentioned in your last slide, the applications of this are mind-boggling if only people know about this.
Yes.
So which is the entire purpose of our seminar today. So this knowledge should be brought to all the industries so that they can use it. Instead of relying on the recent methods, I think these will be more useful to them. Thanking you once again, ma'am, for this wonderful presentation, wonderful paper presentation. And I would like to now introduce our second speaker of this technical session 5, Dr. Bhagyashree Bavre. She's currently the head of Bharatiya Sanskriti Peetham at KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies, Somaiya Vidyavihar University, as an associate professor. She holds a PhD in Sanskrit, which her PhD topic was Cosmic Bodies in Mahapuranas, a ritualistic, mythological, and astronomical study. She is a co-PI for the research project under IKS Research Center at the KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies. Her main areas of interest are Vedic literature, ancient Indian narrative literature, primarily Sanskrit and Buddhist Sanskrit literature, and comparative aspects of mythology. She has worked as project assistant at Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai, on the project Archaeoastronomy in Indian Context from May 2007 to November 2009. The most interesting part of her curriculum vitae is her elementary proficiency in both Tibetan and Pali. So welcome, Bhagyashree ma'am, and over to you for your paper presentation, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Namo Namaha. And good afternoon to all of you. I hope my presentation is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the slides moving?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So as the theme of this seminar was Indian knowledge systems. Yeah, I think someone's mic is on.
Sangeeta Kumari, a participant called Sangeeta Kumari. Could somebody mute her, please? Ma'am, you can mute her too.
I'm trying, but I cannot.
Oh, no, she's muted
Yeah,
now.
she is muted.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, ma'am. Please do continue. Sorry about this.
Just a minute. I think my slide is not visible now.
It was
Okay.
visible, but now
Yes.
it's not.
Now is it?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's not visible to us. Yeah, I think it says started screen. It's visible now, ma'am.
Yes. So as the theme of the seminar is Indian knowledge systems, I thought I will take an overview and an investigation into how the stories related to the nakshatras are presented in the Vedic literature. So currently I am focusing only on the Vedic literature and a little bit of some evolving aspects, some developments that occurred during the epic and the Puranic era. Vedic yajna performance was pivotal for the maintenance of Ruta in the Vedic period. The precision and perfection expected in the performance of a yajna was associated with its end fruit. Any mistake in the performance can lead to accumulation of papa was a deep-rooted belief. The exact time for the performance, precise direction, and prescribed nakshatra were the requirements. Jyotisha Vedangam developed for explaining the rules for these calculations. As Vedanga Jyotisham explains its own purpose, Veda hi yajnartham abhipravrittaha kalanupurva vihitascha yajnaha tasmadidam kala vidhana shastram yo jyotisham veda saveda yajnan. Now here itself, it is very clearly mentioned that the precision in measuring the time for the performance of the yajna is the primary principle or primary purpose of Jyotisha Vedanga. Along with this, yes.
Are you presenting your presentation
Yes.
or reading your paper?
No, I'll be presenting the presentation, but let me just give little introduction, then I will show the slides.
Thank you.
Along with this, multiple stories are narrated as Arthavada in the Brahmana text. This is the amalgamation of the beliefs through which observational astronomy is connected and utilized in a ritual assigning sanctity to it. So with this brief introduction, I would like to present some instances or examples over here. Initially, as you can see on the slide, I have mentioned about the names of the months that are available to us from the time of the early Vedic literature. And what we observe over here is Madhuscha Madhavascha Vasantika Vrutu, Shukrascha Shuchishcha Graishma Vrutu. In this way, the months and the seasons are interrelated. So the idea about lunisolar calendar was very clearly understood and was applied in the Vedic literature, and therefore the beginning of the year is marked by the months Madhu and Madhava, which is the Vasantika Rutu, the spring season. And later on, therefore, the Chaitra, as we celebrate today in according to our modern times, we are coinciding it with the spring season. Initially, at this time, when we are looking at the Vedic period, the lists, as I will show you ahead, the lists begin with Krittika Nakshatra. And Krittika is the nakshatra which is at the vernal equinox point. And that is the exactly same point when spring season or Vasanta Rutu was observed. And therefore, the name of the first month also is Madhu. And that is a sort of synonym for Vasanta. Yeah. These were the other types of calculations of month and year, which were also prevalent during the Vedic period. Naturally, the calculations of how exactly do we understand the correlations between these different types of calendrical systems, all that information is given to us, is provided to us through the Jyotisha Vedangam. So we observed that there was a Saura month and Saura Varsha, which was primarily how the sun moves through the zodiac signs. Now, the zodiac signs were introduced or became part of all this literature at a slightly later period. So it is during the late Vedic period when we are moving towards the epic and Puranic era. It is somewhere during that period the zodiac signs are getting included. Before that, the primary months and the years were Chandra, Savana, which is based more on the sunrise to sunrise time period, that is the day. If we consider from one sunrise to another as one complete day, based on that, when we calculate months and the year, that is what is technically termed as the civil year or Savana year. And the nakshatra, when we are looking at the 27 nakshatras and the moon who is passing through each nakshatra approximately every night. So it makes almost 27 days in one nakshatra masa, and then it becomes 1 year. So these type of various methods were utilized, and later on their correlation was also explained. Now all these different types of calendrical systems were required for the purpose of yajna, because it will depend on the type of yajna, the way the rituals or yagas are being prescribed, exactly on which nakshatra, what ishti or what yaga has to be performed. For these type of information, to have a proper guidance, to have a proper information, these different types of calendrical systems were required. As I'm going to focus primarily on the stories related to the nakshatras, when we try to understand what is meant by nakshatra in the early Vedic period, we come across three different types of usages. Sometimes in the early Vedic period, nakshatra is used also to denote any star in general. So it is not specifically the 27 nakshatras that they may be referring to. It could be a general mention to star, some luminous body. Then we also have its direct connection with 27 divisions of the ecliptic belt, which are the constellations or nakshatras. And each nakshatra therefore will measure 13 degree 20 minute on the ecliptic belt. Then the asterisms in the zodiacal belt. So as we move towards the more and more technical developments, technical traditions of mathematics and astronomy, apart from 27 nakshatras, naturally the other asterisms, other groups of stars, they also then later get denoted in Indian context by the term nakshatra. Since the time of Rigveda, we have been getting references to the nakshatras. Of course, not all 27 in the Rigveda Samhita, but we have the references to Tisha, Agha, and Arjuni, which tally with the known names Pushya, Magha, and Falguni. Sometimes scholars have mentioned that there are references even to Chitra and Revati in the early Rigvedic period, but these three are certainly known nakshatras, and um, they are informed to us at the time of the Sukta, which narrates the Surya Vivaha. There we get the reference to these nakshatras. Here on this slide, I have tried to include all those different references or different types of definitions that we get to the nakshatras themselves. Sometimes the word nakshatra is used. Sometimes we use the word taraka. There is another word that is in use, which is ruksha. So these were the different terms that they were using. And we also find how they are being defined. As Dr. Shakuntala explained in her talk, many ancient texts take us through some kind of methodology that they are employing for the explanation. In the early Vedic period also, we all are aware of the Arthavada, the explanation of the detailed yajnas, which is, of course, to give importance to a certain object that is being used in the yajna. It could be related to why exactly this particular ritual has to be performed in this way. These type of explanations is also one methodology to give us the correlations between the performance and the purpose or meaning behind it. Similarly, when we look at these terms over here, we come across one reference, Surya Rashmihi Chandrama, Gandharvas Tasya Nakshatrani Apsaraso Bhekurayo Nama. Now, one reference that appears here is Chandrama is referred here as Gandharva, and the nakshatras are the Apsaras. And in all the later, even the Brahmana text and the Puranic text, they have always narrated the story of how the 27 nakshatras are the wives of Chandrama. They all are married to Chandrama, and that is why every day he moves through each one of them. That is the way the Vedic people tried to explain what they are observing in the sky. So Chandrama here is referred to as Gandharva, and he is Surya Rashmi. This is also an interesting word because it most probably is trying to explain that Chandrama is getting the luster through the rays of the sun. Most of the scholars have looked at this particular term from this aspect. And nakshatras are called as Bhekura. So this is some interesting terminology which we come across only in the early Vedic period, Bhekura or Bekura, probably again going back to the word Bha, which is luster. And because nakshatras are also getting the luster from the sun and they are visible along with Chandra, probably that is the reason why Bhekura or Bekura, the term is being referred, by which they are being referred to. Then there is an interesting explanation of the word Taraka. Salilam va idam antarasit yad ataran tat tarakanam tarakatvam. Now here again we find what I observed is we always get this association of the material world with the transcendental world. That is always observed when we are looking at the stories related to nakshatras or any type of references to these luminous bodies. It is considered over here that all these nakshatras were the primarily because they are the wives of Chandrama, they are considered as female, and they were on this earth. And at the time of Pralaya, at the time of dissolution, there was water everywhere, but somehow they managed to cross that water and they reached the other shore, and that is the Tat Tarakanam Tarakatvam. So they saved themselves, they reached to the other shore. Yat ya ashru sanksharitam asit tani nakshatrani abhavan. So the ashru of the deity that fell, they became nakshatra. This is also one interesting explanation. Rukshaha, the word rukshaha, which is also referring to nakshatras, as per Nirukta, it is udirnani ivakhyayanti. They are scattered everywhere, and therefore the nakshatras are also called as rukshaha. And since early time, we get this some sense that the nakshatras were categorized as Deva nakshatras or Yama nakshatras. So the beliefs that certain nakshatras or the performances, some type of karma which is being done on particular nakshatras leads to success, and on certain nakshatras it does not. That idea is also we come across from a very early time period. Now, this is how the list of the nakshatras, the 27 nakshatras, is found in the Samhitas as well as the Brahmana text. Because it is directly associated with the Yajna, each nakshatra has been assigned a particular deity. I'm not going into all the details of all the nakshatras because we have a limited time. But I will be showing you about a few nakshatras and their stories. The interesting point here, which I already mentioned, the list in the Vedic period always begins with Kritika nakshatra. And the reason for that is accepted to be that Kritika nakshatra at this point must have been the vernal equinox or Vasanta Sampata during the Vedic period. And later on, as there is precession of equinox, every 72 years, there is 1 degree precession. So accordingly, this also becomes, so why I chose to look at the Vedic literature over here, because this is, Vedic literature is the primary source for us to understand about the culture, religion, and also beliefs and customs from ancient India. This also becomes important resource to look at how exactly Vedic people are observing the sky and how are they applying it into the Vedic Yajna. So as I mentioned, the vernal equinox is at Kritika at this point. And due to the precession of the equinox during the Jyotisha Vedanga period, this vernal equinox has shifted to the 4th pada of Bharani at the time of Varaha Mihir, which is around 5th century of the current era. And Jyotisha Vedanga is considered to be around 1400 before current era. So at the time of Varaha Mihir, this vernal equinox has already preceded, there is a precession, and it has been observed near the nakshatra Ashwini. And currently, the vernal equinox falls in Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra. So based on these mentions, and because it is Siddhanta text and the later tradition after Aryabhata, it has been very precisely calculated how exactly precession of equinox will be observed. It becomes an important source to understand what could be possible time period. I'm not saying this will be the definite time period, but it becomes one important tool to look at when exactly this type of sky positions could have been there. Now, this is the first nakshatra I would like to discuss, which is Kritika, because Kritika has been mentioned in the Vedic literature many a times. Many narratives related to Kritika are present in the Vedic period. We come across even the 7 names: Amba, Dula, Nitatni, Abhrayanti, Meghayanti, Varshayanti, and Chupunika. These are the 7 names which the Vedic literature informs to us are the names, are the 7 stars with whom the Kritika nakshatra is formed. Even in the observational astronomy, when we are observing the sky with our open eyes, actually the 7 to 9 stars of Kritika are clearly visible. If the night is properly dark night without any air pollution, if we observe it, these stars actually are visible to us. So certainly these type of observations were very meticulously being done even during the Vedic period, and they are giving us, they are furnishing even the names of these stars as per their tradition. Of course, these are not the exact same names that we use in modern time. Then we are also informed Kritikasu Agni Adadhita Eta Havai Pracho Disho Na Chavanti. This is very important information again, because Shatapatha Brahmana is informing us that Kritikas never swerve, never deviate from the east direction. Whenever they rise, the east direction has been considered the point of rise. This is also tallying with the information that vernal equinox therefore must have been in the Kritika. Later on, the Shatapatha Brahmana also tells us, initially it has informed that Kritikasu Agnim Adadhita. We should ignite the fire, we should perform the yajna or offerings on Kritika because they are steady. But later they also informed, Na Kritikasu Adadhita Rukshanam Hava Eta Agre Patnyaha Asuhu. Now this is the what I was trying to explain. At one hand, we are getting the actual information about what they are observing, but along with that, we are also getting the how the religious beliefs are mixed with this information, because now they are informing us that as per the whole narrative of Kritika, which is very detailed, so I am not currently discussing it, but as per that narrative, Kritikas were discarded. They were considered to be the wives of the Saptarshis. So Saptarshis and their 7 wives, only Anasuya is, or sorry, Arundhati is left aside. All the 6 other wives of the 6 rishis, they are considered to be part of this Kritika nakshatra. Now, why? Because they were sort of discarded or cursed by their husbands, and then therefore they turned themselves into the stars and they went to the sky, and that is how the Kritika nakshatra is formed. That is what the Arthavada explains to us. And now, because of this reason, that there is separation of these wives from the husband, we should not actually perform yajna on this nakshatra, because it can lead to the similar type of fate. This is how the Vedic literature or the Brahmana text is trying to explain both the aspects, both the beliefs that are prevalent for the Kritika nakshatra. This stanza is from Mahabharata. I have placed it over here because the next nakshatra I would be discussing is Rohini. And in Mahabharata, when we come across this stanza, it informs us, Abhijit Spardhamana tu Rohinya Kanyasi Swasa Icchanti Jeshtatam Devi, sorry, there is a typo, Tapas Taptum Vanam Gata Tatra Mudhosmi Bhadram Te Nakshatram Gaganachyutam. Now here we are coming across the names Abhijit, Rohini. Below you can also see the names Dhanishtha. Three different, and I think at the last line there is also the mention of Kritika. 4 different nakshatras are being referred to in one stanza. It is not very clear from this description exactly why all these are brought together in one stanza. But Kritika was the beginning of the nakshatra list in the Vedic period. Dhanishtha nakshatra, some scholars have explained that Dhanishtha also could have been the starting point of calendrical system at some point. It is not much prevalent system, but probably it was also so. So that there could be some significance to the Dhanishtha nakshatra as well. Rohini and Abhijit are also mentioned over here. So I will be talking about these 2 nakshatras ahead. When we look at Rohini, Rohini is associated with the story also of Mrugashirsha Nakshatra. In that complete story of how Mruga Nakshatra is being formed, we are informed that Prajapati, or in some cases Yajna or Agni, they took the form of deer and they went into the sky. Prajapati was infatuated towards his own daughter, who took the form of the doe, and she was running ahead. And Prajapati, in the form of Mruga, was running behind her. And then Rudra came in between and he said, Akritam vai Prajapati karoti, and he intervened and he shot an arrow at this Mruga. So this narrative is actually informing us about the actual shape that they are imagining for this Mrugashirsha Nakshatra in the sky, what they have observed and what shape they imagine, that has been translated through this narrative. Here this daughter who took the form of the doe and ran, she is considered to be Rohini Nakshatra. And therefore, sa tata urdhva arohat, sa rohini abhavat, tad rohinyai rohinitvam. Why is she named as Rohini? Because she went up, she ascended to the sky, and that is why she is named as Rohini. And the Mrugashirsha Nakshatra is named as Mrugashirsha because I will show you ahead. Sorry. As you can see on this slide, these 4 stars, the brighter stars, they are considered as the 4 legs of the Mruga. And here there is a small collection of 3 stars, which is considered actually to be the head of this Mruga. And this Ishu Trikanda is the arrow that was shot by Rudra. So Rudra therefore becomes the Mruga Vyadha, or the star Sirius, Vyadha, the star of Vyadha. So this is how the whole shape of this constellation Orion or Mrugashirsha Nakshatra is explained through the Arthavada. And of course, it is also linked with the actual religious performance, where the offering, which is named as Prashitra, is then connected to this, the piece of flesh that is attached to this head of the arrow. Then in between the 2 slides which I skipped, for Rohini Nakshatra, we should also look at one other important information. Rohini is considered to be the most beloved wife of Chandrama. Chandrama is, in all the stories that we come across, Chandrama prefers to spend more time with Rohini Nakshatra, and therefore we then get the stories that how the other wives of Chandrama are angry with their husband, and one of them is Shravana. So the next nakshatra, which was Shravana or Shravana, she is very angry with Chandrama that he spends more time with Rohini, and she casts her shadow in her place, and she goes to her maternal place to complain to her father. Now, the shadow that she is casting is considered to be the description of nakshatra Abhijit. But before that, the reference that Chandrama is spending more time with Rohini can again be understood more uh, technically, that Rohini actually has, this nakshatra is on the ecliptic almost 5.5 degrees south, and the moon's path is also making 5-degree angle with the ecliptic. So their path is almost similar. So once in 18 months, they come very close to each other, and they remain so till the time moon moves ahead. So this is again the observational astronomy which they are trying to explain through these stories, what they are observing into the sky. Now, in case of
Ma'am, if I could just interrupt, ma'am.
yes, sorry.
Could you
Is it the
just
time?
yes, ma'am. It's been
Yeah.
now
Okay.
30. So if you
No
could just
problem. Yeah.
wind up so that we have time for sir's comments. Thank you.
Sure, sure. So I'm not going in all details of the Shravana Nakshatra, but just quickly showing you this one map which I came across in one recent research article. Why Abhijit, which was part of some lists where it is 28 nakshatras, but more popular are the 27 nakshatras. So they had tried to map this with the modern softwares, and you can see that generally all the other nakshatras uh, come between plus minus 30 degrees from the ecliptic, whereas it is only Abhijit which has always been outside of that track. Probably they have understood this fact, and therefore these type of narratives have been formed. But it was considered to be, in the later period, it was considered one important muhurta, which is considered the auspicious muhurta. So for religious purposes, maybe it was the requirement that some lists are having 28 nakshatras. To conclude, I would like to say, from all these instances, it is very clear that the primary focus of Vedic and Puranic literature was the explanation of association between a nakshatra and a ritual. While doing so, they are also bringing in some astrological beliefs, primarily in the epic and Puranic era. While reviewing the Vedic stories, main purpose is Arthavada of the concerned yajna. But as perfection was a requirement during this performance, meticulous observational records must have been handy for them, and they have very precisely have tried to utilize them or apply them in the yajna. Their understanding of the lunisolar calendar, the problems that arise while tallying these motions, or the corrections that are required, all this had become inevitable, but it was well framed within the religious domain. Hence, we observe that the Laukika, or the material level where the observations and calculations are important, is very beautifully being woven in the Vedic period into the complete framework of yajna, which is leading to the alaukika, metaphysical or transcendental goal. That is, with that, I would like to stop. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us a perspective into nakshatra, apart from just being a source of letters for naming the child. और अभी सर आप योगेंद्र जी, क्या आप अपने राय पेश करेंगे सर?
अगर किसी के पास कोई क्वेश्चन होगा तो फिर हम 1-2 क्वेश्चन ले सकते हैं मैम, उसके बाद फिर कुछ रिमार्क्स देके हम इसको कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं सेशन को।
किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन
anyone?
हो तो रेज करे अपना हाथ.
Yeah, please, because we are very short on time. So if anybody has any questions, we shall take just maybe one question. Otherwise, sir, आप अपने remarks, concluding remarks दे सकते हैं, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Excellent paper presentations, both of papers. And the first one is geometry in Sulva Sutras. There are some measurement of bricks explained by Dr. Medha ma'am. हंसमुखी त्रिभुज, अर्घ्यात त्रिभुज पाद, चतुर्भुज पाद, षष्ठी वृत्ति, इस प्रकार की उसमें सुलभ सूत्रों में भी जो ब्रिक्स को मेंशन किया जाता है. जब भी उन्होंने चीती की बात कही वहां पर, डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ ब्रिक्स यूज इन चीती, अलज चीती है, कूर्मा चीती है, सीन चीती है, रथ चीती है. There are lots of cities, बेदीज. एक्चुअली वैदिक वेदी निर्माण जो पार्ट आता है उसमें सुलभ सूत्रों का काफी जो एक भाग है वो हमें दिखाई देता है. एक बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने बताया कि रज्जु समासम वक्ष्यामः अथातः सुलभम व्याख्यास्यामः. जैसा कि अथ योगानुशासनम, इस तरह से जब भी ग्रंथ शुरू करते हैं, सुलभ सूत्रों ने ही भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में अपना जो सुलभ सूत्र है उन्होंने उसमें शुरू किया है. पैथागोरियन थ्योरी जो है वो हम देखते हैं कि आर्यभट्टियम आदि जो ग्रंथ है उसमें भी दिखाई देती है. लाइक परपेंडिकुलर स्क्वायर इक्वल टू हाइपोटेनस स्क्वायर प्लस बेस स्क्वायर, ऐसा हमें कर्ण स्क्वायर का पता चलता है. महाआर्यभट्टियम में बोला भी जाता है, दे हैव मेंशन इन गणित पाठ, यश्चैव भुजा वर्गः कोटि वर्गश्च कर्ण वर्गः सः. तो ये जो पाइथागोरस प्रमेय है, पद्धति है, इसका उन्होंने वहां मेंशन किया. एंड शी आल्सो मेंशन अबाउट 3 अग्निज, गार्हपत्य, etc. And also Satyapatha Brahman also describe all 3 Agnis. And circle, semicircle, square, triangles, all very well described. The analysis of Vedic Vedi is very informative for the scholars, even Sanskrit academicians. And I think this knowledge should be applied in school system also. We can try to apply this with Vedic mathematics. Government also प्रेशरिंग अस, और वो इस पे फोकस कर रहे हैं कि वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स को भी हम यहाँ पर लेकर के आए स्कूल सिस्टम में. एंड द सेकंड पेपर एंशिएंट स्टोरीज ऑफ नक्षत्र, वेरी वेल एक्सप्लेन्ड. दिस इज सच पेपर. मंथ्स एंड सीजन्स आर इंटर रिलेटेड टू ईच अदर. एवरी मंथ स्टार्टेड विद अ पर्टिकुलर नक्षत्र. अगर श्रवण नक्षत्र शुरू होता है तो उस दिन श्रावण मास अगर शुरू होता है, श्रवण नक्षत्र होता है. आषाढ़ मास शुरू होता है तो पूर्वाषाढ़ा नक्षत्र उस दिन शुरू होता है. ऐसा हमारे शास्त्र हमें बताते हैं. मेनी एग्जांपल्स फ्रॉम वैदिक लिटरेचर वाज द बेस ऑफ योर रिसर्च पेपर. वेरी नाइसली एक्सप्लेन्ड मैम. एंड द साइंटिफिक एनालिसिस ऑफ दीज नक्षत्रास वाज द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट ऑफ योर रिसर्च पेपर. थैंक यू फॉर द बोथ participants, research paper presenters, and thank you to all the participants. Thank you to organizers, the respected convener of this session, and especially thanks to Professor Suchitra ma'am for introducing me with our special academicians of University of Mumbai and Global Sanskrit Forum, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Kulkarni sir, Dr. Ajay Bhamre sir, मंजूश्री मैम, राजेश कुमार सर, प्रोफेसर माधवी नरसाले मैम, एंड डॉक्टर शकुंतला मैम, एंड ऑल द रिस्पेक्टेड टेक्निकल टीम. हमारे यहाँ शास्त्रों में ऐसा कहा गया है कि सोम सोम चरित्रम शिक्षेरन पृथिव्याम तत्र मानवा, कि हम जो लोग होते हैं अपने अपने कैरेक्टर से हम बताते हैं कि दूसरों को हमें क्यों फॉलो करना चाहिए. तो वैसा ही हमें यहाँ पर भी दिखाई देता है कि हमारी भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में जो होता है, किस प्रकार से हमारे जो सद्गुण होते हैं वो हमारे अंदर प्रविष्ट होते हैं. क्योंकि ऐसा हमारे एक एजुकेशन सिस्टम में इनबिल्ट होता है. इसलिए जो संस्कृत पढ़ने वाले जो विद्यार्थी होते हैं वो अन्य जो डिसिप्लिन होते हैं उन विद्यार्थियों से थोड़े से अलग होते हैं. उसका एकमात्र कारण ही होता है कि उनकी जो संस्कार युक्त जो शिक्षा होती है. तो ऐसी शिक्षा सिर्फ हमारे प्राइमरी एजुकेशन में ही ना रहे, वो भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा से ओतप्रोत जो शिक्षा है वो हमारा आगे तक भी जाए उच्च शिक्षा में। ऐसा हमारे एकेडमिशियंस काम कर रहे हैं, उसको हम आगे बढ़ाएं। और जो यंग स्कॉलर्स, रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स होते हैं, जो इसको ऑनलाइन अभी जुड़े हुए भी हैं और ऑनलाइन वो देखेंगे भी, उन्हें इस चीज से भी सीखना चाहिए कि किस प्रकार से एक हार्ड वर्क करके रिसर्च पेपर तैयार किए जाते हैं और उन्हें हम आपस में रखते हैं, उनकी बातें रखते हैं, उनकी क्वालिटी मेंटेन करते हैं और अपनी भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाते हैं। तो इस सेशन के लिए थैंक यू सो मच। नाउ ओवर टू यू मैम।
Thank you so much for your comments, and thank you to organizers for giving us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Medha ma'am and Bhagyashree ma'am. And over to you, Suchitra ma'am, or Tajni ma'am.
थैंक यू।
हाँ, अभी धन्यवाद योगेंद्र जी, आपने बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से कमेंट्स किए और दोनों मेधा मैडम और भाग्यश्री मैडम, इन दोनों ने बहुत ही विद्वत्तापूर्ण जो पेपर है वह हमारे सामने प्रस्तुत किया है। तो ये सेशन अभी यहाँ पर खत्म होता है, अगला सेशन तुरंत चालू हो जाएगा। राजेश जी, 3 बजे का
जी मैम,
सेशन हम चालू कर सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल तुरंत तुरंत मैम।
ओके।